Hey, Chris Dyck joins us for the with August Roofing and Solar. And hey, Chris, I know this might sound like a stupid question, but when you get a good mover and shaker, should you have your roof checked to make sure stuff hasn't slid out of place, or
Yeah, I mean
maybe?
it's always a good thing to have your roof checked. Roofs are like cars; they need to be maintained and taken care of. So
Yeah, well, I would imagine with some of these things, the tiles might shift a little bit,
yeah,
depending on where you are and what you have.
yeah,
We're at the foot of a little mountain, not a big mountain, but a little mountain, and
yeah,
my wife seems to believe that she feels some things more than I do.
yeah.
I think it's the cushion I have on my backside when I sit down. But other than that,
Yes.
anyhow, so yeah, again, with a lot of things that are going on around us, it's kind of like now we've got the weather's cooling down
Thankfully,
quickly,
yes.
right?
Yeah, so I have to, we
Go
got to
ahead.
go into, does August Roofing have anything coming up deal-wise for the fall?
Deal wise for the fall.
Yeah, what do we got going on during the fall?
You get one free tile for every 1,000 you buy.
Oh, really?
How's
That sounds amazing.
Come on, I'll do your marketing.
Yeah, there you go.
Chris.
Yeah, we have a deal of if you combo a roof and a solar, there's a $2,500 off, and then there's $1,500 off any roofing or solar project if they're independent. So that's
Oh,
what
wow.
we have going on coming into the fall time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this. We've hit those triple digits, but soon enough, it's going to be super cold. At least cold for Californians. Cold.
Yeah.
Which is like what? Mid
88
40s,
degrees.
Yeah.
low 60s. That's chilly for us. But you're going to be running that heater, so now is the time to maybe consider solar. Maybe you want to lower that electric bill, and you're always talking to us about a return on investment. Could you, for those that are just tuning in, just learning about this, what is this return on investment with solar?
Yeah, well, you've got to assess how much money you're using monthly on your electric bill, and then you can take a look at what a solar system would yield you, and then you balance it off, and then you decide, how long it's going to take to pay back your investment that you're going to spend on it, and then you decide, is that going to be worth it? Before the government changed or the CPUC changed the rates, we were looking at a 7 or 8 year return on investment, pretty darn good. When you're talking about a 25-year investment, that has changed a little bit. And batteries are a big thing now to help your return on investment because you're gonna use your own power now. They used to just let it flow back and forth. You made it, put it on the grid, and you took it back when you need to. That's not so much anymore. You gotta be a little bit.
Well, especially with the pricing change from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I blindsided Chris when he came to the studio. I gave him 12 months worth of bills, and I said, "Here you go, figure it out for me." But my wife, the difference is, every month most of us sets this stuff on auto pay, right?
Right.
So it just pays it. You go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I paid that much." Well, when she did this, she actually started looking. And she noticed that rate increase from 4 to, was it 9? Or
Yeah,
something
4
like
to
that?
9, yeah.
And so now she's no laundry between
Yeah,
4 and 9,
yeah.
right? Get the place cooled down
Right.
before 4 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So she's kind of changed and tweaked how she's doing things.
Yeah, yeah, you can definitely make some difference if you just think about it a little bit. But like you said, most of us are on autopilot. We want it cold when we want it cold, and have our conveniences when we want to have them. Right?
Last year you brought up something though, which was up in the attic for summertime, in cooling off the attic helps tremendously.
Yep.
Wintertime, are there things that people should or could do, and how it affects the roof and what have you? For
Not really. I mean, again, ventilation is good for both ways, right? Yeah, heating and cooling it keeps your attic stable, and so there's not really much you can do roof wise to help your heat.
when you have these, somebody sent me this. When you have these extreme temperature changes,
Yes.
like we're having one now, and you may be. Does that affect the roof at all? I mean, does it? The things you're looking for, the cracks. I see cracks like around what do they call the chimneys and other places where you have things
Right.
protruding through,
Yeah.
and they've got that sealer that.
Yeah, yes, the change in, heat and cool, it's expansion and contraction, right?
Right.
So all of your tiles, that's why some people we'll go and we'll take a look at the roof. If you got 5 broken tiles, well, I've not been on my roof. Nobody's been on my roof. How did I get 5 broken tiles? Well, what happens is those tiles heat up and cool down, heat up and cool down, many cycles, right? And then they slowly, have a fissure in them, and then they separate apart. So that's why you got to maintain your tile roofs. That'll happen with all of your sealants and all of your pipes. That's why we do a tune-up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the streets, the roads out there. You get a
Yeah.
little crack, it rains, and then it gets really cold, it freezes, and then it pulls stuff apart, and it just slowly starts to break everything down.
Exactly. So it's the same sort of thought process with that.
All right, I have a funny question.
Okay.
And let's see if there's if this has happened. Have you ever had a customer that is so insistent on a specific kind of roof, but you yourself know that this is not the roof for that house,
Right.
but no matter what, you can't convince them they want that type of roof?
Yes.
Do you go with it anyway?
It depends on the situation. Sometimes, if I believe it's within what I would, there's some things I just won't do, right? Because it's not a good value or it's, not proper. But sometimes if it's just a color or style or type, you warn the customer about the value proposition and the pitfalls. And yes, we do what the customer would desire and just do a great job putting it in, right?
All right. So, see, I asked this question because I think it reveals something about your character in August Roofing and Solar, and how you are going to be honest no matter what. You're not
Right.
just going to go in and go like, oh, well, I know that's not good and that's not right, but hey, you want to pay for it, so I'll take your money anyway. So, yeah, that I think shows some really good character of just like, hey, I will tell you just like it is. And that's August Roofing and Solar for you.
Yeah.
No, years ago when I had my electrical company, I jokingly say I'd fire clients because
Yep.
they'd want you to do stuff that was wrong or wouldn't work for them.
Right.
And you just go, look, there's 20 other guys out there that'll do this for you. I'm not one of them.
Right.
So,
100%.
and I've been, glad you brought that up because I've been saying that about you since shortly after I met you, is that you're not a hard sale. You're an honest guy, and you've got integrity. And I've got a neighbor who loved the work that you did for him too. So he's a pretty picky guy. So he's an engineer type. So,
Oh yeah.
all right. I
We-
mean,
we get a lot of them. So
you know what
I
I'm
guess
saying.
it proves our.
But and when it comes to the
abilities.
roof, that's one of the most scary things. It's almost like having your car fixed because you really don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to climb up there, right?
No.
You're not. You're definitely not going to expect it. Like if somebody replaces your kitchen, you open the cabinet doors and okay, everything's functioning good. The granite's got no cracks in it. Okay, everything you can get down to it. But up on the roof, you're not going to get up there. And I mean that's our thing is to redefine professionalism in the construction industry, and that's actually how my business got started. Was I was working for a guy and he was asking me to do that kind of stuff, like a bait and switch kind, like I was his employee. So he was asking me to do that. I'm like, this is not what's happening here. And so then he actually fired me because he didn't like my attitude. I'm like, okay. But it was the greatest day of my life because August Roofing was born, and it set my, what my heart was to redefine professionalism in the construction industry.
Yeah, and,
just because it's, as you said, you were an electrical contractor, you experienced it, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's tons of people out there who'll do whatever you want, and it's just so sad because it's a really important. Our houses are important, right, for our protection and everything like that, and so.
Yeah, we've been talking to Chris from August Roofing and Solar. Chris, how could if someone is out there listening and they want to get into contact because they like what they're hearing, how do they get in contact with you?
AugustRoofing.com. Fill out a form, and we'll have Armand reach out to you.
I know we're up against it, but somebody asked me last week, their roof was leaking. People came in and fixed it, and everything's been fine. And they have some yellow spots in the ceiling.
Yes.
And they say, can you just fix the spot, or do you have to do the whole ceiling? Do you know? I mean, you've been at this 100 years. Is there a quick fix for that, or they have to fix it all?
You might be able to paint it. The best bet is to call a drywall painting contractor.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just cut out that square and replace that
Really?
and patch it. Yeah.
All right, Chris, always fun having you. I mean that sincerely. Always fun having you in with us. And I'll expect a full report on my year's worth of electric bills
Boy.
tomorrow morning at 8.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
We'll be
guys.
back in a little bit. Trending SEV here at KHTS, AM 1220, FM 98.1.